Hi, how's it going? This is Resident. I'm Collinwood for YouTube. I'm here to continue my reviews of Benight and Beguile, Book 7, Chapter 4 through the Jailer's Bars. And yes, I have another story to get to here, too. Um, so, so Philip, who arrives at Lockwood Thicket. For those who don't know, Philip is a werewolf. Sebastian is a vampire. There's no full moon here tonight, so Philip is very lucky. Like he doesn't want to go in killing anybody because he has no control over that shit. Um, he fucked some people up last time. Um, Jacqueline knows he's there. Her powers and stuff. She's a very powerful witch. Jacqueline is a very interesting. I don't want to say has. She isn't dead. I don't want to use her in the past tense because she's not dead. Jacqueline here is a very interesting heel. Um, Here is a woman who will do and say and use her powers to get whatever she wants, and she has no hesitation of doing this. She has married Jonathan Davinie and she also plans to kill Jonathan Davinie. Um, she says the child inside her belly could be anybody she wants it to be, whether it be Jonathan's or Sebastian's. Actually, she more hinted it. To be clear, in the last chapter, she more hinted it that it was Sebastian. So, um, so it's probably Sebastian's. Do you know who your child is? Well, here's the thing about that. Um, so Philip, who is not susceptible to Jacqueline's powers here, he does not. She has no effect on him, which I found very, very interesting. This could be a number of reasons. Um, Again, at the time, she's pregnant. So I wondered how much her pregnancy was affecting her powers. Now, for the most part, we had saw not at all. Or was this because Philip was a werewolf? Um, why doesn't it affect him? There's a lot of questions there. But what happens here is Philip knocks her down. He's like, I hit a woman. Oh my God, no. So again, Philip's not a violent person. He doesn't like resorting to that. He did here. I have no issue with it. Smack her. No. He causes her to lose her baby. And this is sort of like karma because if you remember, Jacqueline had caused Mary to lose her baby. So that happens here. Let's see, I'm trying to make sure I get this right. Philip, Sebastian, and yes, Jonathan all escape. They all get out of there. Um, it is that crazy. Um, what I find another interesting plot twist here is, um, Sebastian hypnotizes Jonathan to go back to Terramore. Jonathan does not go back to Terramore though. He goes to the village. He's going to the village. Um, that is very interesting. Again, there are a lot of strange things happening here. Jonathan sort of stepping out of Sebastian's hypnosis and not listening to it. Um, is there something going on with the power structure of these creatures? Um, I sort of wonder with Sebastian, he may have not have fed. That's what I'm thinking with Sebastian's powers there being dampened. He had not fed for a while. So that could be why that happened. Just saying. I'm not saying that's the reason. As far as Jacqueline's powers not working on Philip, um, I don't know that maybe because he's a werewolf, maybe because there's something. Maybe witches can't control lycanthropes. And here's the thing: if you get like, not to use another a movie as an example, in the movie Kiki's Delivery Service, crows crows used to serve witches. They talk about, but they don't serve them anymore. Um, so that's again fiction stuff. At Terramore, you have Rebecca and Caspian are having a conversation. Um, and you have a, so make sure I read this right. So a painting is being constructed, a portrait, if you will, a portrait of Rebecca and Caspian. And as this is going on, there's a knock at the door, um, and it is Danielle Holton, who is looking for her father, Victor Holton, and that is Caspian Cassador's real name. At least that's what Danielle Holton is saying. That is her dad, Victor. So Caspian's real name is Victor. Um, Now she does address here. What I love most about this is she does address that Cassador is a maiden name. That's so he took up that name for some reason. Why? There's not. I've talked about John. What John does really well here is he gets you asking questions about these characters. Okay, why take up a maiden name? Was that Caspian slash Victor's call? Was that the Devil's call? Whose call was that? You don't know. They don't. And again, it's something that leaves you coming. I complain about wrestling because wrestling has no hook anymore. John's stories have plenty of hook to get you to come back to them. More than enough. Sorry, I'm a bit sick. Um, and what I really like here too is Rebecca has shown a tendency to be a bit heelish, to have heel tendencies. And here we go. We have Rebecca telling Jane, um, who's worked for the Lord family for years, send you know how to lie. You've worked here long enough. Send her away. Um, she does not want Caspian slash Victor to really reconnect with his past because it means more for her. Um, you gotta understand too, Rebecca. Rebecca had been cheated on by Albert. Albert cheated on her. Albert was she does not want to lose another husband. She lost a child. There's that sort of thing there going on. But we will see where this goes because what I'm most curious there is we've seen Rebecca do some dastardly things, and not when she's just under a spell of the devil. She basically, not basically, she caused the death of Eliza Good. She caused it. So we'll see how far Rebecca takes it. Obviously, they send Danielle away for that. In the village jail, we have Matthew being put in his own cell. And the guard is sort of making fun of the fact that they're witches. I don't think the guard really believes they are witches. Um, Aurora has told her daughter, um, has told Evie that Nick is speaking to Lear to represent them. Mary also learns that about the baby she adopted. That the baby she adopted is actually Caleb is actually Aurora's child. Um, so very, very interesting. Uh, so very, very interesting. You have that go down here. Um, I really like that you get that realization from Mary. Um, you know, and poor Caspian, they feel sorry. Mary feels sorry for Caspian. Um, Evie does too. Matthew gets put in a different cell. So you have that dynamic going on. And Jacqueline loses her child. Jacqueline loses her child, and she damns everybody. Damn you all. Uh, I love that line. I love how she swears she is going to get Mary. She's going to make sure Mary suffers. Um, it ain't gonna be good for anybody. Um, at all. Sorry. Because here's this woman with these massive powers, and she knows how to use them. This is a woman who all but killed Evie many times, and she doesn't have to do much here to get it done either. She at all. Now, will she risk exposing herself now as a witch to the whole? Who knows? She. The thing I value most here in these stories is these characters are very unpredictable what they'll do. You know, you often hear actions speak louder than words, but what shocks me about Joan's story in a good way is you never know what action they're going to take at all. I could sit here, okay, I sit here and read, okay, she's going to get married. Mary's already in jail, and this woman is going to go after her now. In what way? I don't know. Like, how is she going to do this? What I'm most curious about. So I got to read the next book here. I'll probably have, if I don't get the next book up soon, if I don't get the next the next review up soon, I'll have it up later tonight. Because I want to get caught up on these. Fell behind. My favorite character so far this book has been the things he's done with Jacqueline and Evie. A very constant chess match. And the other characters there too. Jacob is still one of your main heels. It's really good that you keep a heel around. John does a really good job of keeping his heels around, especially one of his main ones. And finding ways to keep a character around isn't easy. It's not. So link to Benight and Beguile will be in the description box. Go check this chapter out. It is. Make sure. I'm going to be wrong. Book 7, Chapter 4, Through the Jailer's Bars. I'll see you guys later.